All right, but let's talk about relationships.
Yes.
So you have clients, I'm guessing in both London and Dubai.
Yes.
And you talked a little bit about these interesting standards. And I think you're right. I mean, there are so many options here that maybe you don't have to have that significant other. Whereas in the UK, in your life of toil and darkness, you need somebody to hold on to at the end of the day just to make it through.
Yeah, I was so, like, sometimes I'd have clients come to me and there'd be these awful toxic relationships. So they don't even like each other. They genuinely hate each other. They're not even attracted to each other. They have nothing in common and they're fighting to make it work. They won't let go of each other. And I'd always have this kind of like, but why? I couldn't understand why. But when I go to London in like December, November, and I look outside the window and it's raining, it's miserable, I'm like, I completely get it. I completely get it. If you don't have a friends and family, even if you do, you don't even visit them that much. Right. So if you're home by yourself and it's dark and miserable, it's almost better to choose the comfort of the chaos than otherwise it's just isolation. So then I had a complete understanding of why they stay in these really unfulfilling relationships. So I think it helps because then I become less judgmental because I normally would be like, but you can leave, like you can be in a healthy scenario, but the alternatives are so minimal in certain cultures and certain environments that I can understand why people stay.
Okay. And so people are looking at that dark day and that rain coming out and they're in a relationship that they don't really want to be in. How do you tell people to break a relationship? And do you have to say to them, look, there is a way to get into the next relationship? Because I'm guessing a lot of people, especially if they've been in marriages for 10 or 20 years, they think, I'm never going to find someone else. I don't want to go on a dating app.
Of course.
And how do you walk people through that?
Well, here's what I say to them. Just imagine your partner doesn't change at all for the rest of your life. Nothing changes. They're exactly how you met them today. And then say to yourself, can I accept them for who they are rather than begging them to change? The moment you ask yourself that question, can I accept them? Because they're not going to change. Majority of people, even if you look at your own parents, I know my parents my whole life, they haven't changed drastically. Yeah, they're relatively the same people, which I'm glad, like I'm happy that they are. But in terms of their marriage, they haven't changed much. So people don't change. And they think, but what if they go therapy? What if they watch a bunch of your podcasts, whatever? But generally, they'll only change if they meet somebody else who has a different set of standards. Now, what I mean by that is if I'm constantly cheating on my husband, I'm disrespecting him, this, that, and the other, chances are I'll never change with my husband because he's tolerated that. But if I choose another man who's got higher standards, maybe I'll change. But with the same person, it's like starting to work really hard at your job when really you're already like the CEO and you've already been promoted 100 times. Why would you change? But in a new company, you have to show your levels. So that's why I would say in this relationship, can you accept them for exactly who they are? If the answer is no way, then I say stop expecting change and then you have to leave. You're just wasting your own time. But if you can accept who they are, then just accept and stop nagging at them about the things that you don't like. Okay. But radical acceptance will help them realize whether or not they can actually put up with this for the rest of their life.
Okay. All right. Got it. Questions about the alpha male versus the nice guy versus the fake alpha male.
Oh, the fake alpha males, the ones with podcasts and telling everybody how alpha they are, they're the ones.
But the problem with men out there is that I'd say by default, most of us try to be the nice guy because we don't know any better. And our moms probably taught us to be the nice guy and we get nervous around the women that are good looking and we just want to be nice, even though that's probably the worst thing to do. And so the next step of that is if you learn some game, then you try to be the alpha, which makes you the fake alpha.
Exactly.
And then over time, as you improve yourself and become more of a man, maybe you turn into an alpha.
Yeah.
Peter Thiel took $500,000 and turned it into $1 billion using the exact same techniques we're using inside the investment club. He met a CEO, his name was Zuckerberg. He pitched him the deal and he said, okay, I'll give you $500,000. Mark went public and sold the shares to people like you. Well, what happened to Peter? Well, he exited and got a 2,300x return. The wealthy invest in early stage companies, folks. The public markets are for suckers. It's a rigged game. By the way, this happens in crypto as well. It's called pre-sale tokens. This is Solana. Does anybody know this chain? They sold pre-sale tokens for 4 cents. And you can see the date on there, April 5th, 2018. Look at Solana today, folks. That thing's up over 1,000x. The media and Wall Street and all these hype people get you to buy the top. Meanwhile, they put their clients in at the bottom and they use you for liquidity to make their clients rich. You can play this same game. You just have to have the financial education and the deal flow. That's it.
So how do people negotiate that madness?
Well, here's where it starts from, and this is where it's so common in the world that we see it today. In previous generations, men had very, very strict fathers that were quite aggressive and hostile and stuff, and they just accepted that as a norm. Now the generation of men realize that was, or they think that was wrong, right? So if they had that strict, stern father, they hated that. Whereas previous generations has accepted that's how men come. And this is the first time we've got men that hate their fathers raising children. So what ends up happening is they think, I want to be nothing like my dad. My dad was so hostile, he was so aggressive. I want to be like as nice, because I saw how mean he was to my mum. They kind of have that mentality because they saw those kind of relationships where the man was the boss and the woman was kind of a bit more submissive. And they're like, that's wrong, because that's what they've been taught, that's wrong. So they were like, I want to be so nice. I want to be the opposite of my dad is a mantra of every nice guy. My dad taught me everything not to be. So they follow the instructions of their mothers. What did mothers teach you? Don't argue, don't stand up for yourself, don't just listen, just be obedient, just listen to me and feel sorry for me. That's what mothers teach their kids, feel sorry for me. So they go into the real world, and when they're engaging with women, they're like, I want to be nothing like my dad. My dad always set boundaries. My dad was a bit stern. My dad was a bit hostile. I want to be just nice because mum says that's what works, be nice. In the process of doing that, they emasculate themselves. So what they'll do is they think that the way to a woman's heart is by listening and submitting. They don't realize the way to her heart is showing her who you are and taking her into your world. They think, let me just adapt myself into her world. Let me go to the hairdressers with her. Let me go shop for lingerie with her. Let me just wait and carry her bags. Then she'll love me. But really, she wants to see what you are, who you are. She wants to follow your lead. So in the beginning stages, she might reward that. She might think, oh, it's great that you just answer the calls every day and you stay on FaceTime while I do my makeup and you just, pick me up anytime and you just carry my bags and you cancel your plans just to kind of watch me get my hair done. Later, she will miss the fact that you don't have an identity. And she'll miss the fact that you don't have that masculinity, and she will start to get more and more disrespectful. So it doesn't work being submissive to women. I'm not saying being hostile and being mean works, but what works really well is knowing your own identity and taking her into your world. But your world is one that is positive. It's not one that's harsh, critical, mean, or it's not this hostile kind of alpha male. It's a wonderful world, but she's welcome to it, but you're not going to contort your identity to impress her. Instead, it's just, I've got an impressive life, you can join me. But it's not, I'm going to drop everything and submit to you because you're so beautiful. And it's keeping that identity men find really difficult in this generation. And I don't blame them, by the way. Because so many times I'm like, well, just tell her that this is unacceptable. Or just tell her that, why should you accept that she, keeps posting horrible pictures on Instagram? Well, not horrible, well, like really, pictures on Instagram and keeps talking to her ex. Why don't you just tell her? And he's like, but in America, if you do that, no woman will ever accept you. She'll say you're toxic. She'll tell all her friends that you're toxic. Literally, no woman accepts masculinity. I've got no choice. And I thought they were exaggerating, but after I worked with a couple, I realized that they don't actually allow him to even have boundaries. He'll have no chance with women. So is that true, or is it just what they're telling me?
I mean, that can't be true.
That can't be true.
No, that can't be true because, there are men like that.
Yeah.
Now, in America is a whole nother version. Maybe America is in an even more extreme version of London. Mm-hmm. And it's changing now a little bit, but it went very far, wokeness and all the weirdness. But maybe they'll say that they don't want that, but deep down inside, they want someone with boundaries and structure. And
I know that based on how many women complain about how narcissistic their exes were. If they all liked nice, sweet guys, why is every woman talking about a narcissistic ex? So they're obviously dating men that are more narcissistic, or men with some kind of boundaries, or men with the ability to leave or have alternatives. So they're flocking to narcissistic men, and they're almost waiting for the narcissist to leave them and then complain about him and then post about him and then say how horrible he is. So they obviously do have an inclination towards men. And I think this is what's happened is because as men have either come in two forms in America or in Western worlds, they either come too nice or too narcissistic. They haven't found the balance. And if they got a choice between a nice guy and a narcissist, they'll choose a narcissist all day, every day, 100 times over than the nice guy. And they don't admit that, but that's what they will choose.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith, because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, This bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.